Cam for Cam's Mortgage Minute on Tuesday, April 16th. How many times have I told you that, you know what, pundits, you can listen to them all day long and they all have different opinions, and with all of them talking at once, you don't know who to believe. Well, this is no more truth than our current market and our basically of how overvalued our real estate is in Canada. Different people have different opinions. It doesn't, well, you could ask a realtor, you could ask a banker, you can ask an economist. They all have differing points of view. In fact, I think there's probably even people in Vegas taking bets on how overvalued the Canadian market is. I was reading an interesting article that jumped out at me. It's contrasted how differing the viewpoints really are, and I thought I'd share some of this information with you. Basically, Royal LePage, according to them, the Canadian market is not overvalued at all. They feel it's basically level and fine. Their rationale is that Canada's got a sturdy market and the economy is solid, the unemployment rates are low, and Royal LePage argues that buyers won't retreat but rather continue purchasing throughout and around trigger events like marriages, and they want to increase the size of their house and different things like that, and that the recent slowdown is a cyclical correction that happens in the market from time to time, but a sharp withdrawal or a collapse is unwarranted. Now, according to TD, they feel that the market is about 10% overvalued. That's according to TD and the International Monetary Fund. Their rationale is that they are looking at the local price trends, economic fundamentals such as employment, interest rates, and the householders' ability to borrow, and they expect that there will be a correlation between and a correction in 2014 to 2015 as interest rates start to grind higher. Now, we've heard about rates going up for quite some time. I will tell you, in 2008 we were doing mortgages around the 5% mark, and now we're doing them 5 years later in the below 3% mark. Basically, the IMF expects that it will be a gradual slowdown in the Canadian economy and that the drop will be gradual over time. Now, according to Fitch Ratings, and I mentioned them to you a while ago, they feel that the Canadian market is about 20% overvalued. They recently devised a method of calculating what they call sustainable home prices with a view to guessing which way the mortgages are most likely at risk of default. And it relies heavily on U.S. data. Now, I mean, the U.S. situation is a little different than Canada, but hey, we'll give these guys their due. This is how they figure it out. And they figure that it's going to drop because the government will not step in as much and intervene in the real estate and mortgage market. Now, Capital Economics, they feel that the market is about 25% overvalued. Their rationale, according to their economist David Medini, he focuses on home prices relative to household incomes, and the sharp run-up over the past decade worries him. Well, you know, it worries a lot of people, especially if you live in Vancouver. There's been a huge run-up. Since he doesn't think Canadian salaries will catch up, he feels that prices will eventually have to adjust downward, and it could happen rapidly. He doesn't believe in a soft landing. He thinks it's going to be a tumultuous crash. Now, according to The Economist, well, we're 78% overvalued. That's right, folks. We've gone from 0 to 78. Now I'll share with you their rationale. To arrive at what it calls a fair value, and I wish I had the proper English accent for this, for real estate, The Economist magazine compares what it costs to buy a house versus the cost to rent a similar property. Well, I figured with the accent I'd sound a little more credible, but I'll share it with you here. It concludes that the Canadian homes are the most overvalued at 18 compared to the 18 nations they surveyed. And if they're right, our housing stock, well, basically we're going to be in for a real exit out here. There's going to be nobody left. It'll be like the U.S. It'll basically be a trampling and a running off. So, who do you believe? Hey, you know what? I don't know who to believe. It gets confusing. So, we got anywhere from 0 to 78. Where's it going to land? I can't tell you. All I can tell you is from my own personal experience, I see the market. People are still buying. People are still looking at homes. The deals are pretty great. There's been some corrections that I've shared with you many times. Some houses, certainly people were asking way too much, so they've come down. But where's it going to go? Hey, anybody's guess. But for now, it looks like the market is still plowing ahead and driving ahead. We've got elections coming up in our province. There will be a federal one in a couple of years, so we'll just keep our eyes on it. In the meantime, I will joyfully see what articles come out. And hopefully I can look back in future Cam the Mortgage Man episodes and we'll see how it all turned out. I'll have the benefit of hindsight. Anyway, enjoy the rest of your day and don't worry too much. The sky, I don't think, is falling. Anyway, see you tomorrow.